there's a couple things that I always look at if I try to figure out what I should be doing. It's what I do that makes us the most money, that I love, enjoying, and I enjoy doing, or things that I just know without a shadow of a doubt that no one's ever going to do better than me.
This is the golden moment. I would do business with you right now.
Welcome to 10X Owners Live. Happy Tuesday. We got some great people in here.
Good looking. Look at how good looking all of you are on there.
Great looking crowd. Well, we are beyond excited to be here with you. If you don't know us, we will share who we are very quickly in a minute. But today we're going to be talking about all things people. And one of the greatest things we're going to be talking about is Brandon Dawson's golden rule of three, which
that sounds enticing.
I think it's one of the best strategies you should have if you are not, especially when you're growing and scaling. We heard some of the pre-call, and it looks like everybody's trying to expand. So how do you expand? You expand with people. So really quickly, my name is Jeremy Gabbert. I'm Executive Vice President with Cardone Ventures for Marketing and Revenue. And I just am here to make sure that we bring people into our ecosystem and help them with their businesses. I've been in the direct response space for about 14 years. Recently took an amazing opportunity here at Cardone Ventures, so I'm excited to be here with you. And my lovely co-host, we get the blessing of being here with her because she's probably, we were just talking about this before the show. She's the only person that I've ever known in my entire career that has as many direct reports as she does. So everything that will be coming out of her mouth is going to be pure gold because she does it on a daily basis. So,
well, thank you. And you are all in for a treat because Jeremy is always doesn't give himself enough credit. With that, though, he's going to bring and lay on all of the amazing things. I know we're coming from talking about increased pricing and sales, cutting costs, collecting cash from last week, along with that of the hiring 10X people. So with that, and to also complement what Jeremy had said, I am Kandis McNow. I'm our Vice President of our Strategic Business Unit Services here at Cardone Ventures. So I've been with Brandon a little bit of time now, going on 10 years, and I've had the absolute pleasure of not just being able to contribute through Cardone Ventures now, also through the other business ventures, one of which was Brandon's biggest legacy creator up to this point, which was Audigy Group that he sold for 77 times EBITDA at 151 million. So talk about scaling. I know you've been in many environments as well, Jeremy, where that has happened. And it's been such a pleasure to be able to also see that come to fruition here at Cardone Ventures. So we have a lot to talk about today.
We do. And one quick story I just want to share with you guys. So we were just in Miami. If you follow Grant, if you follow Brandon, Natalie, you saw we had quite a party. We attracted a lot of 8 and 9 figure business owners. We had about 75, 80 in the room. We had another 80 online. And it was to collaborate and to connect more with people who were out there killing it. And I bring this up is because I've only had 2 jobs since I was 17.
No way.
Yes. I know I only look 23, 24. So you're probably like, that's nothing in 4 years. But I've been in this space so in 14 years, I have 2 jobs. And I recently took this opportunity with Cardone Ventures about 4 months ago. And I tell you that because my first job I was with for 14 years. And at this event, a lot of them were close peers or close people I've worked with. And it was funny to hear the difference of conversations. And I tell you this because it sets up exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight and how important it is coming from marketing, coming from the direct response world and all of my experience. I'm very good at what I do. And I figure, you would think that a lot of the conversations would just purely be about marketing and sales. But the only conversations I had actually about marketing and sales were from business owners in that $3 to $5 million range. Everybody else that was $10 million and up, which was the majority of the room, ranges all the way from 60% of the businesses in there, to give you a little perspective, all made $30 million and up. So very, very high stacked room. And those conversations that people were asking me were, why did you leave? What was the opportunity with Cardone Ventures that you saw? And they were trying to dig into what happened at my level, because I was the top guy at one of the companies that I left. And they were like, what do I need to know about people and about development and about connectivity in my company so that my executive team, my top guys don't leave like you did? And I just thought it was such an amazing conversation because they were thinking of the long game of building people and keeping people and retaining people. And the ones that were at the 3 to 5 range, they were thinking about the short game of how to just make more money. And I just thought it was an interesting dynamic. And so that's why I'm so excited. It was a very timely conversation to be on Owners Live with you, because we're going to be talking about duplicating efforts, and who better do we have the pleasure to talk through that with than Kandis, because she's probably duplicated herself a lot more times than we can count with her evolution in the last 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to duplication as well, one thing I feel as though business owners, or even if you're here and you're an individual contributor to whom you're working with, it's so important to understand and be able to cast an effective vision. And then what's that mission alongside that as well, to help propel people forward and align them. What's important to your people? What's important to you? And how is that otherwise correlating to the larger goals of the organization itself? So one thing for me, I've come from the financial institution space, banking, etc. Prior to finding Brandon at Audigy Group once upon a time, it was always that amazing mission. So why we're showing up every single day, absolutely grinding for that of others so that they can achieve everything they're aspiring to. But then furthermore, the vision. And one thing I feel some folks get hung up on a lot is, I don't know how to cast the vision. And it's more simple than you guys think. It relates back to your why. For those of you who, what was that fire in your belly or the passion that drove you to start your business in the first place? And how can you put that into a simple sentence that can resonate and inspire others? So with, working alongside Brandon, I'm sure that you can attest to as well, Jeremy, what was the vision that Brandon painted for you that was able to bring you on board away from an abundance of success in which you had already built for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that it just felt way bigger than me. I worked for some of the biggest people in the industry at where I was at. We had massive growth, but still, it just when I talked to Brandon and got in the room with him, it just felt different. It just felt like, man, I thought I was doing it big. And it was just like, man, if I can get around someone like Brandon and Grant and this amazing team and get to work with people like Kandis and we have such a great team. It just felt bigger. And he painted the picture so dang good. I was like,
so good.
All right, I'm in. Like, we had a couple of weeks of just talking it out, and I had a bunch of questions, but he was there every step of the way. And he was just like, look, this is going to be huge, and we're going to do it either way. But if we'd really like to do it with you. And he painted a great picture, and I ended up leaving. So
love that. And we're so happy to have you.
I am
Where would we be without Jeremy?
So grateful to be here. How many people I'd love to see in the chat? How many on here right now are having people problems, whether that's attracting talent, retaining talent, whether that's effectiveness and efficiencies. So, I mean, honestly.
Hiring, absolutely. We see that. Joel Burr, good to see you, sir.
Yeah. And in every shape, size, industry, we're all having, we can't hire fast enough. We can't find great talent fast enough. And so that's why I'm really excited. We have a worksheet here for you. It's titled Brandon Dawson's Golden Rule of 3 that Kandis is going to bring us through. There's a QR code on the screen, so make sure you scan that. That'll make sure that you can download the worksheet and we can go through it together. But I'm really excited because this is how you get to your next level. Whether you have one person on your team, whether you're the only solopreneur on it, or whether you have 10 people or 30, like, this is a good exercise that you should be doing quarterly to make sure that you are only doing the things that you should be doing that drive you the most money, that make you the most happy, and you get the most joy out of it. So, amen.
Who of you in the chat feels like you're currently stuck in your business? Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if you feel like you're stuck. There's something you can't get past. There are things that you feel like just aren't working, and you are racking your brain around trying to figuring out exactly why. All right, here they come. Yes, absolutely. So most times the reason you find yourself running up against what I like to call a glass ceiling is because you have taken on the burden of everything. And traditionally, so when you're a leader, even in an individual role, being an individual contributor, you become an expert in your craft. And as you grow, as you build your business, inherently, it's always been your responsibility to make sure you're carrying through and seeing everything through to the end. So most businesses, we talk about the breakpoints all the time from, 1 to 3 million. This is that sweet spot where you've been able to prove what you do works very well and there's demand for it in the market. But the next step, you guys, is about duplication. So duplication in your people, which you just alluded to so well. Through duplicating your people, though, you also need to make sure you have processes in place, because I know I'm looking at a lot of you on the screen, some of which I'm very familiar with and others who are new. If you are new, welcome to 10X Owners Live. You need to start understanding and being very intentional about what is it that is captivated up in your minds that you do each and every day. Because inevitably so, if you want to grow, you need to be able to transfer that knowledge. You need to be able to model, mimic, and master those things through others. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to take it all on yourself. And I always think of, it's like when you're climbing up a mountain. I've never done this, maybe once, and people keep putting bricks in your backpack and you're trying to get to the top and you just keep getting pulled down. So I want our time spent together today, and something that Jeremy and I were discussing prior to this is, how are you going to start figuring out how to eliminate some of those bricks? You have to be willing to advocate onto others and coach them and teach them, allow them to fall, make mistakes, scuff up their knees a little bit. And through that, you're also going to be developing your testament to being a true leader and instilling that confidence in yourself. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I love that, because you're letting them at least fail forward.
Yep.
How many in here, because I've been here before, how many in here are like, I feel stuck, but there's so many things that I do that no one's ever going to be able to do it the way that I do? How many of you feel like that? I've been stuck in that. And it took me a long time to get out of that, because I'm like, the fact that I'm going to like have to train somebody and then they're going to make a mistake, or they're not going to write the copy that I do, or like something's going to go out and it's going to go out to our client. And like, because you're a business owner. So this is all on you. And I get it. But here's the thing, is that what you're doing right now is not going to be what you need to be doing 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. You are never going to grow and scale the way that you should be unless you exit your current role. Jenna, I think that was her name. I apologize if it's not, but she was on the Business Multiplier with us Saturday. And that was a whole thing about exiting your current role and your responsibility, because if you are not exiting what you're currently doing, which is essentially what we're talking about today, of duplicating it, you're already behind. You're already sliding. So I'm really excited because, we were talking with Grant about this on Saturday. He goes, look, you're never going to find somebody that does things as good as you are. You're not going to find anything that somebody's just going to hit it out of the park, everything that you're doing. But what if you could find one person that could do a tenth of what you could do? Just a tenth. You would only need 10 people. And what that 10 is like, oh yeah, that's 10 people I have to hire. But those 10 people will make up one of you, which you've already duplicated. That means you've duplicated you as a whole. You're already double on your bandwidth. So thinking in those things, maybe it's only 4 people, maybe it's only 2 people, but there's going to be a number for you that you're like, this person can do 30% of what I can do. And that you have to be okay with that, because what you're going to be able to do to get to there is do exactly what Kandis just shared: processes, systems, and the proper way that we're going to walk through part of it with you of duplicating yourself.
One thing I also want to point out, this shouldn't lead anyone's mind into thinking as well that we're insinuating you throw people at problems. That is the exact opposite of what today is about. We work with hundreds and thousands of business owners all the time. And one thing that we typically see is people hire others into, let's say, some of these mid-level management roles or executive roles, thinking, I don't want to take care of that. I'm just going to hire someone in to take all of these things on. Now, to the extent that these people have built something as big, preferably, and what you should be striving towards, larger than what you have, especially if you're bringing them in at an executive level role, I want everyone to take a step back and think about the talent that you currently have. because there's so much power within being able to grow and develop others as well. And it's just giving them the chance and you needing to hold yourself disciplined enough
Yep.
to forward invest your time. For me, I don't know about all of you, my time is so very precious.
Yes, she has 37 direct reports. Not so.
Just in general, though, I mean, it's who I surround myself with when I'm not at work. When we are in this professional environment, though, it's most of us don't even understand the talent that some of our team members have because you have not given them the chance to show up.
100%.
How are you finding those diamonds in the rough or the gemstones that your teams actually have? Maybe they didn't even know they had because they were just never given the opportunity. So I can say from experience, that's one thing that I've had to grow through the most. And within, I don't know, I'd say the last 3 to 4 years, it has become the most powerful tool that I would say has deemed the success of something like the strategic business unit, because it's not about the one person, it's about how we're collectively pushing forward together. So we digress a little bit. It's all applicable. Let's get to, though, the activity that Jeremy just introduced.
And just for the record, because Barbara said it, 37 is a lot. 37 is not normal. Kandis is an outlier. She is a complete expert in this because she's been able to create these processes that we're going to show you. But don't think that you're going to have one hire like Kandis, who's the unicorn that has 37, because it's not typical.
Unicorn with a broken horn, because I have plenty of things that I am learning. I will tell you that. It also comes with 10 years of mentorship from Brandon himself. And I'm still making mistakes. And my next level of growth is I need to be able to duplicate myself to a degree in which I can now duplicate leadership onto others. So with that, I would love everyone to take a moment, look at the worksheet. If you don't have the worksheet or you're driving, keep your eyes on the road, self-reflect, and take this moment seriously. What are the things that you're currently doing on a day-to-day, whether you're a business owner, whether you're that of an individual contributor, an entrepreneur is what I like to refer to it as, that you should stop doing? And Jeremy, what are some examples of things, if I'm a business owner and I'm sitting here going through this exercise, examples or ways that I could be otherwise better spending my time, although it's things that inherently I just do every single day because I've done it forever?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it like literally is a laundry list. Is it driving to service calls? Is it doing some of the admin work? Is it, after you get off the phone with the client or whatever that is, like, are you doing things that you could be automating or delegating or even eliminating? That's one of the things that we're going to be talking about. But there's so many things in your business that you don't have to be doing. Is it putting together a spreadsheet that makes you want to pull your hair out because you're not good at Google or Google Docs or Excel? Like, what is that you're doing? Like, I typically think of, like, if you look at your day to day and you look at the things that you're like, do I have to do this? Those are probably the things that you shouldn't be doing. Like, that should be some of your first hires or your next hires.
Absolutely. And of those things, I do this every quarter. I just sit down and write. I'll pull up my calendar for a week and just reflect week over week and see what were my meetings, where was my time spent, what admin time did I block out, and of those things, what is driving revenue? Okay, because that's another thing that all of this is leading into, you guys. When you become key man dependent on yourself, you're setting yourself to be destined to failure. And I say that very frankly, because a lot of you are in that position. To the extent you can learn to take all of the knowledge that you have and, as I said earlier, simply translate it over onto others. I'd love to actually start opening it up to some of you as you've been thinking through what we've spoken about thus far. What are some things that you've identified you should stop doing right away, and why? Go ahead and raise your hands.
Or throw them in the chat too.
Or throw them in the chat. Absolutely. What are those things that your time should be spent maybe out networking and business development? If you look at Brandon and where he's at today, even Grant,
data entry.
Data entry. Bingo. I know there's some people still developing their own content for social media when they have a team of 30 and really could afford to bring someone on to do it, but they love to do it. So they don't want to give it up.
And here's the thing is, if you know you shouldn't be doing data entry, there's people out there that love data entry. If you know you shouldn't be doing content, there's people out there that love content. So just because you don't need to be doing it or that you don't like doing it doesn't mean that you can't have somebody out there. But I'll tell you this, Kandis and I were talking about, I've been doing this. I do this exercise every single quarter because it makes sure that I'm still doing the right things, because sometimes you just get in this habit of saying yes, 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 yes. And even though that yes got you here, it's going to be no that's going to take you to the next level. You have to start saying no, not, hey, I'm not going to do this. No, it's not just like dropping it and letting it go through the cracks, but you have to start saying no and passing it off and delegating for you to be able to have more bandwidth for you able to do that. So what I used to be able to do, and I still do, is journal. And don't journal at the end of the day. Take a journal with you. So if you're sitting here and you're like, I'm not sure what I shouldn't be doing and what I should be doing, take a journal with you for the next week and write down everything that you are doing. Don't wait till the end of the day, because we all do way too much and you'll forget what you like, half the stuff that you do at the end of the day. So write down, if you go to a service call, if you're doing data entry, if you're writing content, if you have that conversation with that front desk person, like whatever it is, just write it down, write it down. Do it for a week, because sometimes what you do on Monday and Tuesdays is going to be different than what you do on Fridays and Saturdays. So for you to get a real good perspective of everything, do it for a week. And then
Siri can help you out with that too. For those of you who lose things like myself, just tell Siri in your phone. She'll help keep a list.
Yeah, no, of course. And then at the end of the week, go through there, and Kandis said it best, is figure out what there's a couple things that I always look at if I try to figure out what I should be doing. It's what I do that makes us the most money, that I love, enjoying, and I enjoy doing, or things that I just know without a shadow of a doubt that no one's ever going to do better than me. Or at least that's my perspective, but that's how I feel. Right. So I'll take that and I'll go through the journal and I'll write just some money signs next to it.
Ooh, that's creative.
Yes. Money making activities is what I call it. Is like, what can I actually do that I know that it's going to drive Cardone Ventures the best way possible? Everything else that does not have a money sign on it, that's what we're going to be talking about here, is that you should stop doing. And you have three options. You either need to automate it, you need to delegate it, or you need to eliminate it.
Oh, those were so good. That was gold itself. What is that, Jeremy? Repeat it.
Automate, delegate, or eliminate. That's where you're going to be able to say no to some of these things. That's where you're going to be like, you're going to look at it. I know I've done this countless times. It's like, and you have too. It's like this whole list that doesn't have a money sign. Like, that's one person, that's two people, that's four people. And that's where you'll start to be able to create your jobs.
Yeah. It's amazing how easily something can be taught when it's written out. I know process documenting things is something that most of us cringe when we think about. Some of us geek out if you're operationally inclined, such as myself. Most people, though, think, well, that doesn't generate revenue. So this is the other side of the coin, where you also then need to think, even if creating a process isn't something that's automatically tied to generating revenue right now, it's going to lead to revenue generation, so it can pull you out of some of the mud that you're continuing to try and push through. And one thing I think Christy, so sorry, apologize in advance if it wasn't Christy. I saw a comment come through where someone said they have fear of delegating by means of that person potentially screwing up. And one thing I can tell you, I had to fail more than I succeeded in order to have some of the greatest successes I was ever able to achieve.
Yep.
So I feel as though most of us can resonate with that. Even you as business owners, Brandon has gone through his own trials and tribulations. You have to allow others to not do things perfect. And I always live by progress over perfection.
Of course.
I've been a perfectionist most of my life. And so getting into dynamic environments that move quickly, and if you truly want to start creating that foundation, you just have to be willing to get something in place, because it's better than nothing. And that then become things your teams can lean on and leverage as well.
Yeah. And there's no failure in life ever unless you quit. Right. So if you can, if you have a team member who fails and they move forward and it never happens again, it's not a failure. Like, just have that validated trust when you are hiring and duplicating, because they're going to fail. I failed so many times. Like, it's like when you touch a hot stove, you're not going to touch the hot stove too many more times because you learn from it. And that's the same thing in business. Like, it's, hey, we failed. Here's what went wrong. Let them see the consequence to that. But then also, what's the solution so that we can make sure that didn't happen again? And if it does continue to happen again, then maybe they aren't a right fit for you. And then you need to start looking for better talent. But if they're continue to compound and work on that, and they're not seeing the same mistake happen over and over, it's what you want. It's progress. It's not perfection. It's progress.
Yeah. One thing, as you were speaking, we just had our leadership or leadership essentials workshop over this weekend, and we talked about the 4 C's, which is a concept I don't feel like we use nearly as often as we should. It was resonating with me because the 4 C's is courage, commitment, confidence, and then the multiplier in that is conversion. So to the extent you all from a leadership perspective can also learn to embrace those things, having the courage to advocate something onto others and teach them, knowing that they likely won't do things exactly right the first time, being committed to be there for them, to coach them through that, to pick them up and help them do it the right way next time. Right. And then having the confidence in knowing that you're building a team, and you might need to do this a few times with a few other people, but ultimately that is where the conversion piece happens, because all of those things coming together is where the true momentum is created.
True that.
So we did have a few hands, going back to some of you who are willing to share what you've recognized you should stop doing. I think I see, is that John down blue shirt? Let's get him unmuted. I'd love to hear. John, hello.
I'm muted now.
How you doing, John? We can hear you.
Doing great. Just got back from Miami. Tremendous. It was amazing. Kandis, thanks so much for everything that you gave us down there. And we've already put things in place. We were so energized when we got back. So it was just a great thing. I can't tell you enough how great it was for us. But so what we found is doing, we scaled pretty quickly in our business, landscape design build company, and started in January, probably do 2 million this year, and want to grow to 4 million. But what we found ourselves doing, because we're just, we're like chaos. We have no organization. We're kind of putting out fires every day. We're not planning ahead. And what we want to get away from is just spending the time fixing our unorganized tasks and using that time to grow our business and build relationships. And we were with Tiago invited us down there, and it was just such an amazing experience. But when we came back, we realized, hey, you know what? We got to stop spending time putting out fires and organize so there's not those fires, and spend time growing our business.
Yep.
Love that. Organized chaos
Seriously.
is a real thing, because when you do grow quickly, it's going to come. You'll get curveballs left and right. There are going to be things happening. I mean, little fires. It's how much though do you look at a fire as being a problem versus that of an actual opportunity? And programming your team to also think through that lens as well.
Yeah. And John, you were cutting out a little bit, so I'm just going to repeat a little bit about what you said, but he said he's in the landscaping, and he's going to do 2 million this year. And he felt like it was just chaos. Like everybody's just running around. They're doing all these tasks, and it doesn't feel like it's structured. And that's one of the things that he's going to be working on. But that's a perfect, like if you're feeling that day to day and you're just feeling like, oh my gosh, it's just crazy. There's no process. Like that would also be one of these things too. Have your team members journal. This doesn't, the whole journal thing is not just for you. Like this stop doing versus start doing workshop. This is not just for you too. This could also be for key leaders that you have in your company, or other people that are just like working 80, 90, 100 hours a week. Like you can start to branch out. And then this is where you start having mid-level management, and then having people under, but it's for everybody in the company. It can be.
You bring up a really great point. So for those of you, I know we have some folks who are a little bit newer. We also have individuals who are going through a platform review experience. You've gone to a 10X 360. Maybe yourselves and or your employees are in our 10X employee online program as well. There is, I believe it's week 9, an activity called duplicating yourself. And the reason I bring this up is because it's similar to the activity we're talking about here today, although more targeted towards your team members. And you can either, you can use this for yourself as well, but it's doing exactly what Jeremy outlined, which is journaling. I would recommend you maybe start with your key leadership. I don't know how large your teams are. I'm sure they all vary. Have them sit down and in your next one-on-one or touch base, write down their day-to-day activities along with the percentage of time spent on those things. And I will tell you, it is quite eye-opening for many owners who have their teams do this. Because A, it outlines, are they doing what they should be doing? If they're not, is there clarity through a job description or the expectations that you put forth? B, how much time are they spending on those things? I know that, through our platform experience, business owners will look at what their teams write and they're like, oh my goodness. And it's no fault. Sometimes, I mean, every scenario is different on potentially the team. That's where you need to take ownership as a leader, because there's uncertainty somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just being able to provide that clarity, not just for yourself, but to them, because you owe them that. And sometimes we do get caught up in the hustle and bustle and the day-to-day, and people are just running at a million miles a minute. So how are you continuing to realign your people so that they're also spending their time on the things that are equally, should they stop doing them, or what should they start doing more of?
So good. So good. So we have, your brain spinning on what you should stop doing. What's the next part?
Start doing. What are some things you should start doing? And that goes back to the money signs. I'm just seeing, the little emoji, the little cash thing that's flying around.
Little wings.
Yes. What should you be doing that in the back of your mind? Whether it be getting out there to network. If you're an individual contributor, again, should you be making more outbound calls versus maybe administrative tasks that, as Jeremy had said, with those 3 magical things, could be optimized better, or somehow, what's the word? Automated.
Oh, automated. Yeah.
Automated somehow. How are you getting creative and coming up with those innovative ideas? That's also important too. So I'd love to hear, who do you want to bring up next, Jeremy? We have a lot of hands. I'd love to hear from some other folks and what they've.
Well, my eyes are horrible and I cannot read names. But
Oh man, mine too. We might need some readers for us moving forward.
Aaron, go right there.
Yeah.
Who's that? Leba. Sorry, I'm really bad with names too, so I will probably mess that up.
There we go. Hello.
Hey, it's Leba. So honestly, I have no idea how I ended up on this call, but I'm here, and I decided that I'm just going to jump on all the Zooms that I have in my inbox in my Gmail, because I am a travel nurse just learning about real estate and multifamily. And this is where I need to be to make my dreams happen. And so I'm super new listening to you guys talk a mile a minute. I'm from New York, so I'm guessing you guys are as well, or somewhere.
I have a little bit of roots out there. I will say it was inherited though.
But it's awesome. I could be your eyes to read, but I also just wanted to say hi to everyone and introduce myself. And I know that a lot of people here have a million things going on, and I have a ton of free time. All I do is go hiking right now. So I would love to work with people or help people or whatever. I used to work with syndicators years ago, just learned about that. So yeah, I just wanted to put myself out there.
Cool.
And if you need help with anything, or if you need eyes to read for you guys, I'm available. And I'm here in the chat while I'm doing some stuff on my laptop as well. So
awesome. Well, I will say this, you can, on the flip side of this, especially with all the free time you have, what are your money-making strategies to get you in the right rooms, to get around the right people? And while we're on the topic, I will say this. I don't know if you guys know this little event that we're doing. It is the Business and Real Estate Summit. It is the first one on the West Coast. We're super excited.
There's never a first.
There's never another first.
Another first.
And it is August 29th and 31st. So this is specifically for business owners looking to leverage their current efforts and assets and multiply through your passive. So Grant's going to be there. Brandon's going to be there. But this is specifically how you can leverage and convert active income into passive income by working less and doing what you're currently already doing. This is the exact same strategy that Brandon has been able to do. Yep. It's the exact same strategy that Grant has been able to do and have $5 billion under management right now. It's insane what they're able to do. And it all happened by leveraging what they currently already have. So if you are interested in doing this, again, it's the first time only, something that we've would usually sell for $5,000, but Brandon was like, no, I want as many people in the room as possible. I want to be able to give them this secret and this tool and this blessing that we have to be able to leverage what we're currently having and multiply it through passive. So scan the code. And we'd love to see you there. It's August 29th and 31st in Scottsdale, Arizona.
There's some great restaurants out here, and I will tell you, it won't be something that you want to miss, purely because we're already very much so selling quickly on all of the seats. I don't even know how many are left at this point. Quite the bargain, though. I mean, $500 for how many days is the event?
It's 3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, that's massive, you guys.
It's going to actually be a very intimate experience too. We have a great hotel here. There's only so many of you that we can have here, but with everything changing in this world, there's a massive opportunity. So if you currently already have a portfolio, we'll be able to teach you how to grow that even more. And if you don't, this would be a great place to start. So just wanted to bring that up because we were on the topic of real estate, and there's no better event on the planet than with us in a couple weeks. So hope to see you there. Cool.
Excellent. Why don't we go ahead and I'd love to speak with someone else. What have you identified? We can go through both now. I feel like we've given everyone enough time to reflect inward a little bit more. So give us one thing that you've identified you want to stop doing, and what is that next thing that you want to start doing?
Yep. And put it on the chat too. Let's call on Jason Preco.
Hi.
How's it going, Jason? Good to see you again.
Good. I'm good. So you were asking for stop or start?
Both.
So I need to stop the field work. I am the 100% face of the company, training staff in the field, and it's not allowing any time to do the platform.
Okay.
That's spent in the middle of the night when I get off work, and it's taking its toll. So being the sole revenue maker, we're doing the Cardone University, and it's just a process, and that's all it is. It's the season right now to get all the foundation built and to get everybody on the same page, or at least similar to the same page. And I need to stop reacting. You hit the nail on the head with you have to be okay with others failing or not being perfect. And that's a hard thing to do. So this is my pride and joy. This is my baby. And this is something I have had blood, sweat, and tears. So start doing is exiting the company's face and moving. I attended the Zoom meeting Saturday, and that spoke so huge. And I think Liba mentioned manifesting the outcome of things. And I was thinking so negative. I can't find people. I can't do this. Well, today I was talking to my general ops manager, and I said, I've kind of failed us. I keep talking about the things I can't do and I can't find, instead of I am going to find the talent. I am going to get the people I'm after, and I have to change my mentality before that goes. So and start journaling. I think you're dead on the money there. I picked up one of these while I was at one of your guys's.
There you go.
Nice.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't really know what it was until you said it, and now I'm like, okay, I got a purpose for that now. So
there you go. Time to 10x, man. So what are you actively looking for talent now? Like, are you
I put it out there. We have we got all positions open. So
cool.
A lot of people self-terminating still. We're hiring with the process now, and essentially firing, or they're self-terminating just based off of setting the expectations, writing the expectations down, and then no longer having a space here. So they're either going to conform or not. So, and that's been a hard thing to wrap my mind around. So
yeah, I bet. And I think what you said too, just that slight shift. And like, I can find great people want to work for me. I will be able to find people that I can replicate and duplicate. Like, if you keep on telling yourself no, like it's not going to happen. Like, you will speak it into an existence. So I think just that shift too, because you'll feel that, and your employees will feel that too. So then they start talking that way to their direct reports, and it's you're the lead domino.
It's the belief lid too. I don't know if when you were in there on Saturday, you heard us talking about it. It was a common theme because everyone is drafting behind you. They're looking at you. They're looking at what you're saying, how you're, what your perception is on different things. And so you being able to allow them to draft behind you, they're simply going to mimic what they're seeing come of you. So I want to actually give you massive recognition, Jason, because it's not easy to implement new things and create that accountability and discipline, because as you are now seeing, people react differently. And at the end of the day, I would encourage you to continue to stay faithful to the process, and also just put that implicit trust in yourself in knowing if people are meant to be in your organization and want to be a part of that greater picture, they are going to do what they need to do to be successful with you, to the extent you're casting that vision and they understand why they're putting all the time, energy, and effort into it. And so let people self-select out. And the reason I say that, it's not out of, I guess not out of care, because every single person that, we have here at Cardone Ventures or anyone I've worked with, we want people who want to be here doing these things. And so why pressure people or give them the opportunity to continue to surround themselves in an environment where if they're not happy, that's okay. It's respecting what are your passions, your hopes, and your dreams. And if you can't find it here based off of the expectations and where we're going, that's okay. We can accept that. And we wish you the best onto other things and chapters that is going to bring you that joy. So I know in the moment and initially it's not easy. You are saving and really granting maybe some of these individuals self-selecting out permission to do so. And then what it's creating is more opportunity for amazing people to be attracted and come be an absolute phenomenal complement to everything that you're doing.
On the caveat, when they do self-select out, I like that term better than self-termination. We actually have a meeting at that point after they leave and figure out what we can do better, because a failure is never just one-sided thing. So we do have conversations and implement new procedures in that. So
that's great. That is exactly what an exit interview should be. And I just saw someone put there in the chat, hire for attitude, train for results. There couldn't be anything more true than that. It's the skill versus will factor. And while there are certain roles you all need to fill that need to have certain competencies to complement, it's going back to giving people the opportunity, have the process documentation in place so you make it easier on yourselves to duplicate what you already know works, versus bringing people in who, even if they've done it before, most people lean on the expertise, but then they also, if you're setting expectations during the interview process, they will respect what you have in place that has led you to where you are today. So
good. See, I was so excited to be with her. She's just a source of wisdom with people. But no, validate. I mean, it's some people just want to be put in the game. And if you can put them in the game, you can see where they're good at. You can see where their areas of weaknesses. And if you have the right people on the team, they will take those areas of weaknesses and develop them to what you need to. So super excited for you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's see who else we've got. Let's go ahead and bring up. Where's the cursor? I still can't read. I had LASIK eye surgery done at one point, and clearly it's wearing
one of
off
our team
after
members,
like 15 years, so.
Steven said it in the chat. If one of our team members can say it in the chat, who to pull up, or let's just go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Zach, is that Zach from Flex?
Can y'all hear me now?
There you are. How are
Awesome.
you?
I'm doing fantastic. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Fantastic. I first wanted to say how grateful I am for groups like this and calls like this. I mean, just me being on these calls, I've been on them for a while, but you get to see some of the struggles that people have gone through or are going through that we have gone through as an organization, and then some of the problems that I hope to get to soon. So just kind of being surrounded by, this is exactly what I'm talking about, like getting involved with masterminds and getting involved with people, so that you're surrounding yourself with people who are seeking the same solutions and are looking to elevate their mindset. That's one big thing that's been great for us as an organization, for my wife and I. the other thing is, we have a 7-figure practice, high volume clinic. We see, 500 plus patients per week in our chiropractic practice. And, we're trying to do that. We're trying to build a team. We're trying to do all of these high level, leadership roles at the same time. And what's happened to me is I've just gotten, mind locked where I know what I got to do. I just don't know where to start. You know what I mean? And so what I have started doing is really being intentional with planning out my day and setting aside blocks and setting aside times during the day to focus on certain things, so that when I'm in patient flow or that when I'm working with my team, I know that I can focus on that, because I know that I have time set aside that I can devote to some of these other things that I need to get done. And so that has been huge for me. And the other thing is, we talk about our 1 year, our 3 year, our 5, 10-year goals, and those are great. But they're so far down the road that sometimes things don't get done. Especially in a short period of time. So I've started setting myself like 60-day targets or quarterly targets just for myself, so that I know that I'm making progress toward those longer term goals. And I'm sharing that with the team. And I have my planner out. I have my goals written down. I share that with the team in the morning, so they see that not only am I asking them to do these things, but they see me doing these things too. And I'm being very transparent with my team about where we're going and what I am doing myself to make sure that we get there. And I feel like that we're hiring higher caliber people because we're doing that. And the people that are on board with us, they are really buying into that vision, because they see that not only are we talking to them about what we're doing, but we're also investing in ourselves and with the team.
Gosh, it makes my heart so happy, Zach, to hear you sharing this, particularly your story as well, and attracting that high caliber talent. How long have we been in pursuit of being able to attract some of these phenomenal people you just found?
Oh, since I don't know if I can remember that back that far.
And how many times did you want to throw in the towel?
So many times, but I'll tell you, just trusting the process and focusing on those small incremental changes has just been huge for me. Just trusting the process and not trying to do everything all at once.
Yeah, but you also said something too, Zach, is bringing people in on your successes and your wins and your goals. Like, I used to do this thing. I'm a really simple thinker. You guys will learn that the more that I get on here. Is I used to have like a yellow pad, and I used to just put 2 columns or 3 columns on it. And it would be like what I'm doing today, what I'm doing tomorrow, and then what I'm doing this week. And I would only let 3 things on my today. And then I would let like 6 or 7 things on my tomorrow. And then I would have everything else I needed to do that week. And going back to the successes, this is for personally what I would say is being able to cross that off and move things from column to column that like made everything for me. And now I've taken that to a bigger scale, and we do that every morning with our calls. Like we have our morning meetings, and we share all the successes that we've had from the days before. What sales has brought in. If you guys are here, if you guys have been on that, you know how powerful those morning meetings are. But I didn't have that before. And I don't want to ever have another day that I don't have it, because it's so powerful to bring everybody in on what our targets are, but also our successes. How many people we brought into our ecosystem, how many calls the SBU had, or how many platforms we delivered. Like, and there's what email can, if they want to be on our Wednesday calls, what can they?
Email is info@cardoneventures.com. If you would like to participate in our daily all team meetings, we love to invite guests on Wednesdays. And this is where you get to then sit back and see our entire organization who, we just recently, with some of the other activities we have going on, we're now at like 188 people. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Between, all of our different efforts. But with that, it's, one of the struggles we hear a lot is, how do I align my team and get everyone on the same page? And I will tell you, it's by consistently being transparent, open, and creating that constant alignment every single day.
So big.
And so, Zach, by you doing that and letting people in, I know you're having your all team meetings every day as well. 15 minutes. That's all.
Sets the tone.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple. And it really provides people. It creates a certain level of respect, I would say, as well. Coming from other organizations prior to working with Brandon, there was always question questions as to what's happening, what are we doing, what are our targets, if our targets changed, why, if we're being asked to do something, how is it correlating to what you asked me to do before? And it just eliminates all those questions.
Yeah,
and
totally.
releases so much more time, I would
And
say.
everybody
overall.
starts my favorite part is everybody starts the day the exact same way.
Yeah.
And so you just like 8:45 every single morning we jump on, and it just creates this just massive energy flow that goes throughout our entire day. And we do it every day, Monday through Friday. It's amazing. So
Yeah.
It's awesome, Zach. Great to
Zach,
have you on the
thank
call.
you.
All right. I think we got a
We have
couple
time.
more
Yeah.
minutes here. Who else do we want to bring
Take
up
some-
to share?
A few more questions.
And
Hi there.
Hello, it's good to hear from you. I know you were on a little bit at the beginning of the call.
I was, and just to refresh your memory, I design and facilitate executive retreats, meetings, and team building. And my main challenge comes when I get third-party referrals or requests. That means either an event planner or a destination management company contacts me because they're bidding on something, and they usually don't go anywhere. And what I have started to do is ask for a three-way call with the client, and they're very resistant to doing that. I guess they're afraid I might steal the business. So I just want to know if you have any tips on how I can influence them to see the benefits of allowing that call to happen.
Okay. This is a very particular and unique situation. One question, I have a few questions actually for you, Anne.
Sure.
First one, when they're reaching out to you, what questions are you asking them so that when you create your proposal, you're absolutely certain that it's covering all the bases and potentially giving you that additional value proposition with you knowing they're likely shopping around for other options?
Well, I ask them the same questions I ask them if I was speaking with the client. So I want to know, what are some of the challenges you're facing as a team? What's working well? What has precipitated this request for team building? At the end of the day, what do you want your team to walk away with? And they're not able to answer those questions. They simply cannot do it.
yeah, and I think also Jeff actually mentioned it in the chat, and I was kind of thinking along the same lines. Is you just have to be on the same page as your clients or your prospects. Like you have to just understand, and they have to understand that you're on the same page, and that it's not that you want to steal. It's rather you just want to help and serve. So I would say, without knowing like an actual getting into the logistics of your company, and I would probably say that you need to go upstream a little bit and figure out your communication with them is to make sure that they understand upfront what your goal outcome is and your target for this conversation, to let them feel a little bit better when you actually have that or request for a three-way conversation.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
putting
spend more time reassuring them that I'm on your side. My goal here is to make you look good so that we both get the business, that type of thing.
Yeah. And you can say, hey, here's what I've done in the past. I've been able to help my clients do X amount or save them X amount or, allow them to keep some of their hair, like whatever it is, like the stress or whatever, like all these things,
Yeah.
like you just have to figure out what your service provides, what value you bring to them, and communicate that with your clients up front. So then when you're like, hey, let's just hop on a three-way conversation, they already know and understand your
Sure.
role and their role into that. Because just knowing that is they're probably just unsure of what that looks like.
And I guess if I give them an example of a time when I did have that three-way call
course.
and we got the business and it was a lot of money or something like that, I'll give it a try. It's tough because normally that's not how it's done. But
well,
if you-
let them know, acknowledge, say, I know this is untraditional, but what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? So
Yeah, it's
that's
like,
just
like you're just going to put something on a paper and hope it sticks. It doesn't make any sense. Right.
Yeah. And just because it wasn't done before doesn't mean it's still not right.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. I'll give
Cool.
it a try. See
Go
what
do it.
happens.
Let us know.
I will.
All right, Aaron, I think you have someone else that you were, okay. Door Service English.
ooh, I want to know what their name is.
Hello, guys.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How's everything with you guys?
Oh, we are just rocking and rolling, and I'm trying to keep this one out of trouble. I mean, all the normal things.
It's hard.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Johanna Yuseshi. I'm the owner and founder of an institution. It's English Academy. We teach English to the world, and our mission is to help billions of people who can actually be able to communicate in one language. In this case, is English.
Awesome.
Love it.
So what tonight showed you, or what did tonight show you that you're going to start doing more of?
I think it's actually implementing automatization. That's super important for me. At least for the sales department, because we rotate a lot of sales representatives. The company is in South America and here in the US. So it's a lot of rotation when it's about training, how to taking care, close the deals, the whole entire process of selling. So I think I could do a lot better when it's stopping more, because I ignore the situation a little bit. It's just like, okay, let me train them. Let me give them the process. But they do and go to the process. They like it. They may not like it. I had to do a lot of rotation when it's about selling. And so automatization is what I had to do more. And do less is ignoring the situation sometimes.
Oh, that's a really good one. Ignoring the things we know we have to do.
Oh,
That should be something all of us stop doing, actually.
that.
Yeah.
We
So
do.
true.
We actually know what are we supposed to do, but at the end of the day, it's either you hit it up early in the morning and you focus on the things that you don't want it to do. And I think that's my takeaway with Natalie and Brandon, and of course Grant Cardone. So it's just like focus on the things that you don't like to do the most in the morning, and then after that, the whole morning and afternoon battles, like it's easy to go.
Yeah, no, it's so good. And that's actually one of the reasons why I, when I was sharing that, that 3-column thing, what I used to do is I would only give myself 3 things to do a day. I would do way more than that, but I would only move 3 things over at a time. It's because I knew that there was stuff I had to get done. And if you have too many things on your list, you can kind of like move things around and be like, I can do that later. I don't really want to do that. But if you only give yourself 3 things to do until you can get more stuff done, you will have to get that done.
Yeah, so I'm asking you guys what kind of type of software that we can use to like automate sales in general, like, you know, the process, the automatization, because for me it's something new. I'm very old school when it's about having my team of selling, or my sales representatives. I used to have a like face-to-face, and right now the company is 100% online. So we're struggling so much to put everybody in one room, because they work by their own time. And training is just like, okay, I'm going to record it, see the recording, I talk to you later. And I think it's not the same process like when you have face-to-face.
Yep.
Do you have a CRM by chance?
Yeah, we do. We work with Soho.
You do work with Soho? Okay. I mean, from an automation perspective, specifically for sales, I don't know when the last time you met with your Zoho representative, I would make a list of all of the different barriers in which you're running up against through your sales cycle to determine the features and functionality that Zoho specifically has to help create solutions for those things. And then anything outside of that, that's where then if it were me, I would go research some specific platforms to otherwise be able to fill in some of those potholes. You'd be surprised. I feel like even this is something I continue to learn more and more about. I'm enough to be dangerous in marketing, although I'm not an expert such as Jeremy. So in that, what I've come to learn as we're, knee deep in HubSpot, we're building out our own CRM now. It's all of the capabilities that there's so many things that I didn't even know was possible until I asked the right questions and got the right education around it.
Yep.
So
yeah, no, I would map out your process. And I mean, we all know as part of our sales cycle is like what is very intricate to have and very critical that we have to have like an in-person. And there's some other things that you could do. They're like, well, this isn't as important in the conversation that we could have more of an automation put. Like I know like filling out an application for somebody to speak to you, you could automate that. You could automate booking sales calls, or we call them auto books. Like you can automate that. Are there specific decision points in your process where you could film a video? Now, it's not going to replace your whole sales call, but there are little decision points in there where you could maybe put a 5-minute video in there or a 3-minute video on there that might automate or replicate what you're able to do, but then you can have it already done before they get on the call with you. So there's other things that you can do along with the CRM that will help. That's the science of it. And then I would also look at the art of it, of what you can actually do to automate the process as well. So it's not all on your back 100% of the time. Maybe it is 70% of the time, and you can automate 30% of it. Cool.
Perfect. Oh, amazing, though. A lot.
Awesome.
A lot to do. Thank you so much, you guys.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
So it looks like it is time. We couldn't be more excited to be here with you. But one thing I did want to bring up is we are talking about all things people. And if you would like to do a deeper dive, we do have our People Essentials workshop. We're going to throw that up and make sure to scan the code and talk with the team about our next one coming up. But you get to learn directly from Miss Natalie Dawson, who has hired and fired about 1,000 people, probably more. So many people. She's helped us grow this from 0 to 180, what it is now. And she's just a really great expert about how to do it. And you get a part of our team. So that's 2 days specifically about, talent alignment, development, transition, the same core key principles that Kandis has been able to do and her amazing team. And
one thing I would piggyback off of too, for those of you, I feel like a lot of people have read Teamwork, which is, if you have not already gotten that, please go online. You can get there's not an audio version yet, but you should go online, get the book. You can get it through Amazon. With that, it's really taking a deep dive into those different components. And so I do feel knowledge transfer is always so valuable. It's then how are you actually using that information and translating it into a plan that you can physically go and implement, which is ultimately going to create those outcomes. And so through that 2-day workshop, Natalie does exactly that, peeling back the layers of the onions, along with some other fabulous experts on our human resources teams. And it's just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I know that people have walked away and within, 10 days have hired a role that they were trying to recruit for a year. So it's,
I saw the comments on this chat. They were blowing up whenever we were getting it. Everybody has people issues. So if you have not came to People Essentials, you have to. We just touched the tip of the iceberg, like the top part of this. It's 2 days full immersion. There it is. There's the book. I see you holding it up there.
It's at our HQ. So you get to come get a tour. You'll be able to see where all the magic happens behind the scenes. And it's just a really great experience. A great networking opportunity as well.
Yep. So cool. No, we loved being here with you. It's always a pleasure to be here on Tuesday and talk with all you amazing business owners.
Right, sir, you all are in fabulous hands. It was so great being with you. We will look forward to seeing you soon.
The whole purpose of this show is to engage with business owners and be able to answer questions for people that will give them some insight and perspective on how to grow and scale a business. Not only leadership, but real life examples. This is the golden moment. I would do business with you right now.